The cost of IT in business can be staggering. From hardware and software expenses to services like internet and phone, you don't need to spend a fortune on IT to succeed. If your organization spends more than $500 monthly on any service, or you're considering signing a long-term contract, IT Enabled can help you manage your technology and minimize your costs. Contact us today to schedule a free consultation. IT Enabled, we're here to help.
Lisa, we're thrilled to have you on the podcast. Thanks for joining us.
Well, I'm very excited to be here. Thank you.
Absolutely. You know, you were saying before we got started, you were like, I like to be on the back side of the camera. So many people know you as a photographer in this community, but why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about you, your background, and then we'll get into talking about being a diplomat.
Well, that's kind of funny. When I first moved to Lufkin, I did get involved with the chamber immediately. I was new to East Texas and was self-employed. And through the chamber is how I started with photography. And then family started. So then I was not as involved in the chamber. And then becoming a realtor, jumped right back into the chamber and getting involved.
Now, where did you move from coming to Lufkin? Where did you move?
Well, I originally from California.
Yeah.
And then from Lake Tahoe, Nevada side. And then worked my way over to Texas. Well, landed in Dallas.
Okay.
And then came to East Texas.
Nice.
And how long ago was that? When did you come to Lufkin?
About 23 years ago.
23 years ago. And have some kids that have grown up here as well?
Yes, both born and raised here.
Awesome.
So Reagan, my first born, is 21 now. And then Kaylin is she's going to be 20 this year. And she has been on the podcast before.
Yeah.
You scared me when you said your oldest. I thought that was her. I was like, there's no way she's 21. Like, we've been doing the podcast this long, but that's awesome. So tell us about being Diplomat of the Year. So you've been a diplomat for a while, right? You've been doing this for a good bit.
I have. Originally, they used to call it, when I first started, was Trailblazers. And then I think in between when I came back, it was now Diplomats. So for at least the past 10 years, I believe I've been part of the Diplomats.
That's very cool.
And so for those that are listening and you're not familiar with what a diplomat is, they are truly the outreach arms of the chamber. They are the men and women who show up before the events. They stay after the events. They help with the ribbon cuttings. They go and greet our chamber investors. They open the doors for you. I mean, they are the people that help my crew just the day in and day out role of the chamber. We could not do the things we do without the diplomats.
And it's a pretty great group. I mean, and people can come and go and serve when it fits their schedule.
Absolutely.
And it's been so pivotal for me to be able to serve and get to be part of all that you do. So
it's been fun. We've got about 80 men and women right now currently that are diplomats. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
It's kind of the first step. So like when people come up here and they're like, how do I get more involved in the chamber? It's kind of, would you say it's like the first way to get into it thing?
That's the first thing we say is being a diplomat is the best way to find out what's going on in our community. And it's very inexpensive. It's $50 a year. We do breakfast every month. Y'all meet, you have Christmas party, you have all kinds of stuff. So that just helps us cover our cost for meals. But other than that, I mean, you're the ones that we tell when a new business is coming to town. You learn about it,
right,
a lot of times before it's ever announced publicly.
That's been really exciting. I like to keep up with the current events and also to help celebrate the milestones.
Yeah. And, you know, with you being a realtor, it's been a great opportunity, I'm sure, for you to meet people and help them, whether it's business real estate or personal homes. So
there's been a lot of people moving into the area that haven't been to Lufkin. And so they're looking to get connected. So they have always a lot of questions, a lot about medical, entertainment, the schools. And so being able to help them find what works for them. And it's not just selling them a home, it's selling them a community. Because I get calls literally, they're just looking for some place to land. Some of the people, some is for a job, but a lot of them, I mean, it's what Lufkin has to offer. And being involved and knowing what's happening in the area is just a better fit for me with my job to be able to share that important information with them.
It's such a great, I can't think of a better way to be connected if you're looking to grow your business or your career or whatever it is, because you're kind of at both sides of this, right? So you go to these ribbon cuttings with these businesses that are brand new, that are just getting started, celebrating businesses that have been here for a long time when they do their anniversaries. And then are you still going out when a new investor joins the chamber? Do you still go out and meet with them? I remember when I joined the chamber the first time, a diplomat came into our office and just introduced themselves.
No, we've
Do
got
that?
Mackenzie that's doing that now.
Okay, so you have a person doing that.
Yeah,
Awesome.
but we used to actually pair them with a diplomat.
That's what it was.
And so we're looking at starting that back, which I think is a great thing, because then, at least for the first few times of going to something that's chamber related,
Yeah.
you have somebody to meet that
love
can introduce you to other things. So, we just can't do what we do without our diplomats. And so this past year, Lisa was actually our Diplomat of the Year. So let's talk about that process. What do you have to do to be Diplomat of the Year?
Well, showing up, we do have a point system, and it's hard. I mean, you can't make everything, but with all the amount of ribbon cuttings that we have, if you volunteer, help us set up like First Friday luncheons, if you're on a committee, things like that. It's just different ways of being involved as a diplomat. And at the end of the year, then they tally the points. And there's 3 that actually get recognized. There's the Diplomat Stars, and then 3, it's like a Grammy night where there's 3 people that have been selected. And then I got to be Diplomat of the Year.
So, and you put in so much work. Everybody that's diplomat is great. Our Diplomat Stars are pivotal to us. And then, we as a group here talk about really who's impacted us this year. And you've just done so much for us. We're very thankful for you.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, I like getting involved, especially with these events. You do form relationships, and just it's so much of a part of serving. As far as the networking, I mean, you do with those relationships, it helps quite a bit. And I do think that it was an honor. I was surprised. I mean, Diplomat of the Star is great, but being Diplomat of the Year, I think it was just, I felt there were so many deserving people, but I really did appreciate the honor.
Absolutely.
So you have a real front row seat to seeing these new businesses that are joining as investors in the chamber, people coming and going. And we talk a lot about how do people get plugged in? Like that's probably one of the bigger questions that you get here at the chamber is how do I get involved in the community? How do I get involved in the business? And the reason for that a lot of times is not selfishly. I mean, you have a business that you want to grow or career that you're looking to grow. What kind of advice would you have for people? Because we have people ask, and we always give it kind of the gym comparisons. Like you get in what you put out, right? I mean, if you come and are involved, but this is kind of that next level to it. This is more than just coming to like the Cheers with the Chamber or a Business After 5 type of thing. What advice would you give to someone who's wanting to get plugged in?
Well, that's been very interesting question because the chamber also started the outreach committee, and that's where a lot of the diplomat that they can go out and thank the investors for being part of the chamber. And what's been interesting with that is that they want to get involved. It's just I think sometimes people get busy with other things with growing their business that don't realize that the chamber does send out emails of all the events that are going on weekly. And so it helps them pick and choose what they can do because sometimes they can't come in the morning, but they can come after in the evening. So getting plugged in is just by coming, like the First Friday luncheons or some of the Cheers with the Chambers like we did just the other night. And also as a diplomat, if they do have someone in their marketing team, if they can't make the time themselves and one of their other staff members can come in and just to network, the speed networking breakfast is a lot of fun that we've done and where we meet with people like a 3-minute and you get to exchange information. There's just so many different ways, but like you said, with the gym membership, you do have to participate in order to get the results. Yeah. And so just being an investor is great and you do get that name recognition, but you don't get to form the relationships as you do as if you show up for some of these events.
Mm-hmm. I tell people all the time, if you're going to join and never show up, then don't join. Right. Because we're going to take your money and run. And you're not going to get anything out of it. Right. But, if you will put in the time and the effort, it will come back tenfold. Yeah.
And it's amazing, just like with the outreach, they do want to. It's just trying to make sure that they do get the emails, but making sure their emails
Mhm.
up to date, making sure, you do a lot with social media. All the events are on social media.
Mhm.
So a diplomat to me has been one of the best ways of getting involved because of the ribbon cuttings and the celebrations. You get to show up for your other local businesses.
I love that. So to continue with the gym analogy that we've been doing, so it's one thing to just go to the gym, but if you just go, nothing's going to happen, right? You're not really going to get any results if you just show up at the gym and expect, whatever your goal is. Let me lose weight because I'm here. It's just,
Start.
yeah, it is a start. It is a start. But I see a lot of times at these type of events. So I'm an extremely extroverted person. So like when I show up at these things, it's not difficult for me personally to go introduce myself to people that I don't know, ask them about what they do, talk. I see a lot of people sometimes who will just go and they'll maybe get a drink and they'll kind of wallflower it. They get up against the wall and just not go and network and talk. What are kind of some best practices that you've seen? Because you've been to probably more of these than anyone other than maybe the chamber employees. But what works best for people to get out there and not just show up, but really get involved?
Exchange business cards. I think somebody gave me a tip once a long time ago. Just 5 people. Walk up and introduce yourself to 5 people.
It's great.
And there was a lady I just met, and she had remembered me from another event that was new to the chamber and attended a ribbon cutting. But we exchanged information so she doesn't have to go alone next time.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes for some people it's intimidating. And so I know that with the diplomats, we're very outgoing.
Mm-hmm.
Like we do try to find the people
We're a
that
little overwhelming sometimes.
but we want to make people feel welcome and included instead. And I know sometimes people think maybe it's not as inclusive, but it really is.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely walk up and introduce yourself.
I love it.
I think if you'll just introduce yourself, just break that first ice, then it's easy from there.
I agree.
Easier, at
There's
least.
a lot of people who are in the same position that they're not familiar yet.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I joined the chambers, because I wasn't from the area when I first moved here. And I was small business getting started, pre-family. And that's how I wanted to get connected. This is where I live. So I want to know what's going on as well as participate. So yeah, you just show up. And like you said, don't just be a wallflower. Make
Right.
sure, introduce yourselves if you just want to exchange 3 cards.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a start. So
I love it. And definitely utilize, I love when the speed networking thing happened, or I was talking to everybody at the chamber, I said, I love programs that force people's hand to do something that they wouldn't normally do. Maybe attend some of those. I mean, that's a great way to get involved, where you're going to sit down and talk to X number of people without you having to go up and, break the ice. And sometimes that can be difficult for people to do that. There's a lot of events like that, or reach out to a diplomat. I'm sure they would, you would all be happy to take some around and introduce them to people. I'm not trying to put more on your plates, but
No, I definitely, because I do think, and I don't know if people realize that it doesn't have to be them, just the business owner. They could have their office manager come. I mean, if they're busy or not the extrovert, then they can send, from what I remember, the office manager or their marketing rep, or
that's a good point.
so.
Yeah.
I love that.
Well, anybody that's listening, if you're interested in being a diplomat, please come by and visit us. We'd love to visit with you about it. We'd love to get you with Lisa or another diplomat to find out really their point on it. But come by, come see us, and come join the diplomat team.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time. Where can people find you if they're interested in connecting with you, learning more about real estate? Where can they find you?
Well, I'm a realtor with Timber Country Real Estate. They can find me, they can call or email me. I have Facebook, or just call the office. And I'd be glad to help them with their real estate needs, or with information more about being a diplomat or attending some of the events.
I love it. Well, you've got a friend who will go with you. So I love that.
Well, there's the other thing about being involved in the chamber that a lot of people didn't know, that I didn't know, was the leadership opportunities. And so we are Lufkin Leadership Class 40.
That's right.
So that was very pivotal for me as well.
That's awesome. Well, I'm so glad you came and chatted with us today. It was so great to see you. And we had a little mini Class 40 reunion.
Yes, we did.
A couple other people from our class who were here today. So that was great. Well, always good to see you. Thank you so much for coming by and chatting with us and It's been an awesome conversation.
Well, thank you very much for having me. This was quite an adventure this year.
I love it. I love it.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. Again, this week, we truly appreciate your support. If you will like and share this video with someone who you think might find this conversation interesting, maybe they're a business owner who is an investor, or someone who is an investor in the chamber, but maybe they're not taking full advantage of it. Send this to them. This could be a great resource for them as well. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.